All right. We should be live. All right. Thank you so very much. Today, one second, I'm just gonna, there you go. It's gonna check. Today we're getting to know Naomi from Cat's Cradle. I'm just gonna check 1 second that we are live. We are. Okay, great. So Naomi, you are with Cat's Cradle. I'm very sorry for the spelling error and the error of the time. These things happen. So Naomi, can you tell us a bit about yourself? You said that you board cats for 30 years now.
Yeah, I've been running Cat's Cradle for over 20 years, and it's been really successful. And we started Cat's Cradle, and I really wanted it to be paramount for the welfare of the cats. So within a few months of opening, we got listed on the Feline Advisory Bureau Top 100 Catteries, which everyone will now know as ICAN Care. And that was a really big deal, because we just knew that we were doing everything as we should. So we live in the woods, so it's a really lovely, peaceful place for the cats to be. And after I had spent 5 years, I think, doing the cattery, it was all up and running, going really well. And then I thought, do you know what could I do now for myself, and also to make the cattery more, improve the cattery, maybe improve the welfare of the cats, see what I could do. So I found COPE, and I started doing my studies with them. I started with Think Cat, and then I went on to do levels years 1, 2, and 3 of the COPE diploma in companion animals and training. And so that's when I started doing my cat behaviourist work. We do lots of studying on dogs, as you all know, if anyone on here has studied with COPE, but my main focus was to be with cats. And I'm really lucky that I spend 24/7 with cats, and have done for many, many years. So I get to see lots of different breeds, and that is really helpful. You know, we have from Sphinx cats to Maine Coons to British Shorthairs, Burmese, Siamese, and all the different breeds, which is fantastic that I can really get to know them and know about them. The other things that in the cattery that we really like to specialise in is all different ages of cats. At the moment, I've got a 10-week-old kitten who is absolutely adorable, and he has special needs. You know, he needs to be fed more often, he needs to have lots of toys to be played with a lot, and then that could, to contrast that with a really old Siamese cat that I have quite frequently, and she's going to be 22 next month. So she has different needs. You know, you have to make sure that she can get near the heater, everything's on floor level so she doesn't have to climb, you know, and all these different things. So we really run the cattery so it's for the individual cat, and it's not just one size fits all. So the other things that I like to do with the cats is try and make the environment the best it can be. We've got shelves, so we've got high levels for the cats to go, because as you know, they all love being on high levels. We have little boxes, which some of you, if you do follow my Facebook page, may little boxes that's like to sleeping up on the shelf. And you know, we all know that when that Amazon delivery comes, what does the cat like? It loves a box. So you know, that's something that we do. Try and feed in different ways as well. providing egg boxes or little treat balls, all this kind of thing, just to give them a nice environment to be in. And so that's kind of what we do, really.
I love it, because I know whenever I get a delivery, my cats are just like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing in the world. Thank you for the box. They don't care about what's the delivery. Like, I can get gifts for them, like, catnip gifts, and they don't care about the catnip gifts. They want the box.
Yeah, I laughed the other day.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I really do find that's, I mean,
sorry. No, I was saying the other day after training, a colleague of mine, we were packing the back of the car with all the dog equipment, but I'd had a box that some stuff had arrived in, and she was like, "Are you using that box?" And I was like, "No." She says, "Can I have it for my cattery, please?" Yeah.
Yeah, so that one has worked really well, and we like to play with the cats as well. We provide balls and little toys that they can play with. But actually, one thing that I really find really helps the cats to settle in is getting the cat owners to come in and settle their cats and bring in lots of different things from home. It could be bedding, it could be blankets, it could be toys or scratch posts or scratch boards or anything. Sometimes people even bring their work bag in because that's what their cat likes to sleep on. We have some really weird and wonderful things that come into the cattery sometimes. People bring T-shirts that they've worn, just things like that. I think last week I even got a pair of socks came in, which I think was a first.
Were they clean?
Well, I think so. Yeah, hopefully they weren't worn too long. But just anything that really helps them to settle in. The cats really find that so reassuring that their cat guardian can spend time with them to reassure them that it's okay here, and also to reassure my clients that they can go away on holiday and enjoy themselves and not worry. They can visualize exactly where they are, and they just know that they're going to be cared for and just not worry. And that's really what I try to do, is just to make sure the cat's welfare is paramount, and added to that, the clients are very, very happy because they know that their cats are going to be really well looked after. And if there was a problem, I would contact them, So, sorry, I'm just going to have a little drink.
Yeah, go on. Taryn, do you have any questions?
No, I was just going to say, and the whole idea of the clients being able to come in and actually see the cat settling in, actually spend time with them, I just think, that's quite amazing, because I think so many places it seems as though it's kind of a drop and go system. Mm-hmm. And I know I don't have cats, but for me, the idea of just leaving any animal of mine somewhere where I can't, as you say, like visualize where they are, what's happening with them. I think it's wonderful to be able to offer that there's that time, that they're not rushed, that they can actually go through that process. It must give people a real sense of peace of mind. And so much better for the cats too, that they kind of settle in while the owner's there and don't just suddenly sort of get dumped in a new place and the owner's gone at the same time.
Yeah, no, it really does make such a big difference. And our chalets, they have an indoor and an outdoor section. Ooh. Obviously completely separate. We do have multiple cats, but only if they're from the same family. The cats really love to go outside. They've got a little cat flap where they can just go out. They've got a chair to sit on outside, another raised shelf, and we've got a nice little courtyard where we change all the plants with the seasons. and we have hanging baskets.
Oh.
And, you know, it's a bit like cat telly. They can look around, they can watch the bees and the butterflies and everyone walking past. And at night, because we are so sort of out in the sticks here, we have, you know, there's lots of owls, so they can be outside and listen to those, and the muntjacs in the woods barking away, you know, and it's quite peaceful, but there's kind of like interesting stuff going on around them. So that's really nice.
Yeah, no, I know as a cat owner, like, or cat guardian, I should say, that when I leave, having a good pet sitter, because my cats can't leave the home, it's just they're too traumatized, but having a good pet sitter or a place that I know that they are taken care of, that they can get their medicine, that they don't have to, I don't have to worry about their feeding schedules because they're older cats, you know, and they need to eat more, and they need to sleep more, and they need to do certain things. And, you know, if I had that option and I would be ecstatic, because that would make sure my welfare, as you said, as a client, is taken care of, and also my cat's welfare is taken care of. And especially when you have cats with different needs, it's incredible. Like, I have 2 senior cats, one with arthritis and one that is extremely traumatized and fearful. So if I had somebody who, with the experience that you have, taking care of them, that would just put me at ease.
Yeah, it is really nice, because, you know, I see that as a really big part of my job, to reassure the clients that their cats are going to be safe and they're going to be well looked after, and we're going to give lots of TLC so they don't need to worry about that. And also, you know, that we respect the cats. We do treat them as individuals, and my studies have really taught me a lot about, you know, I can read the body language a lot more. You know, I can read their body language. I can see if a cat is stressed or has anxiety. You know, and we're providing like hiding places for them to go if they are scared. And conversely, you know, some cats don't really want to be fussed too much, and then other ones, you know, they're jumping all over you, wanting to have a lot of fun and to play. So I think that's really important, and I think that's what's really helped with my studies as well, so that you know, I really understand how cats think. So it's not just how I think they should be. I understand, you know, what they need, and they're also different. You know, the different breeds. I mean, Siamese and Burmese, they are very, very outgoing, and they love people, and some people say they're quite dog-like, but the funniest thing about them being in the cattery is that they're just like the rock stars of the cat world, and they just love to wreck their hotel room. They just make such a mess, I can't actually tell you. You know, they're cleaned up and tidied. They tip their bed up, they're jumping all over the place in their litter trays, it goes everywhere. It's actually really funny to see. And it's just, for some reason, those 2 breeds just, you know, they have that rock star feel about them when they're with us.
Yeah, I have 2 ginger cats, and what they say about ginger cats is very true, because I have a big fluffy ginger cat, and he, even though I play cat wand with them and I give them enrichment, they still want to do race car at 2 a.m. And so I'll be like, I hear that, and I'm like, no. And so at 2 a.m. I hear them running around the place, and then they jump all over me. I'm like, can I just sleep? Can I, if it's not on the counter in a certain way, they're going to knock it over. So, you know, it's ginger cats. They're just everywhere. Mary, ICAN member Mary, says that your cattery sounds like it's a cat paradise.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you, Mary.
It does, actually. I was thinking that it actually sounds like a nice holiday for humans to be able to go stay somewhere like that, where they can listen to owls and all the wildlife, and have different plants at different times of year. It sounds really, yeah, it sounds amazing.
And you have meals delivered to you too.
Yeah. There you go.
And
Smart.
we have ensuite litter trays, so you'll be absolutely fine.
Oh dear.
But
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting you saying about the Siamese and Burmese because yeah, I mean, I had cats growing up, but my husband is allergic to cats, so I haven't unfortunately had them in my own home. But we always had gingers, and our gingers, the one, he was the sweetest thing at home, but when you took him to the vet, our vet actually used to call him, I can't remember, it was some sort of wild, notorious politician. I can't remember their name, but used to call him that because he had like two sides to him. But they always said the gingers could be quite sort of wild. But the Siamese that I always remember, we had one next door, and he would fetch things like a dog. He would like retrieve things. And my grandmother had a Burmese who you could pretty much take anywhere. So if she was going away, he'd literally go and stay with an aunt, you know, because he would be quite happy to sort of be packed up with his stuff and go to another home and stay there, which I mean, for cats, that seems quite unusual to just adjust to new environments like that.
Yeah, I
So
think
they do seem to have different personalities, yeah.
Oh, they definitely do. I mean, it's quite incredible, really, the difference. I mean, like coons, I think are very relaxed with their owners, but they can be very, very nervous temperaments. I found that a lot. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, I mean, the British short hairs, they're lovely, but they're a bit more aloof and maybe not as quick as some of the other cats to pick things up, but they're very lovely and beautiful. I have a lot of those. I've only had a Sphinx cat once, and I couldn't wait, but I did wait about 19 years to get a Sphinx cat in. And he was very, very sweet, very different, because they're not, I don't know if anyone knows, but they actually do have a very downy sort of, they have down on their skin. They're not completely without fur. But obviously that's another thing you have to do is, you know, they have to be really warm. So we have to make sure that, you know, they're definitely near their heat lamp and very cozy and warm. But yeah, that was an unusual one.
yeah, here the Sphinx cats wear jackets.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they can do.
Mary also
idea.
said that she would happily share with the Rockstar Siamese.
Oh, good.
But yeah, no, because we're so cold here. In the winter we have hot summers. A lot of the Sphinx cats have little jackets or little sweaters because they had to keep their heat. Any short-haired animal has to wear a little sweater.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cute. You can get such lovely, you know, really different original like coats for them.
Yeah, no, my cat Marmalade though, she's touch sensitive, so you can't put anything on her. She's short-haired, so I just have to tuck her into like little blankets, because if not, she's cold. But she will not, because she is so sensitive for being touched or any sort of pressure in her body. I can't put any jackets on her. It just means I get to cuddle more with her.
Oh.
Well, that's always a good thing.
Always a good thing.
Yeah. So do you have any specialities at your cattery?
What do you mean?
Do you have like any like do you have like any like focuses, like, or is it just like an overall category, or do you focus on cats with behavioral issues, or
No,
you
we're a
take it
broader
all?
category. So I look after people's cats when they go on holiday.
Okay.
I would say that's the majority of the cats that visit visitors. But you know, there are a lot of times where people need their cats boarded. For example, if they're moving house, you want to have your cat somewhere safe so they don't get lost in that box that they love and packed away somewhere and you can't find them. And also, if you've got a lot of building work going on in your house, you know, I have people that they're having their floors replaced, and so the cats need to be somewhere safe, because otherwise they're going to get lost under the floorboards somewhere.
I think this is a really important topic to talk about, because we tend to forget that when you're moving or you have a new baby, or you have any sudden changes in the home, like construction or anything more going on in your home, that your cat can easily be lost. And that's where a lot of these issues happen. So that's where I think a certified cattery like yours is so useful, because if you have all people coming and going in your home, if you have all these changes, your cat has to be safe, or there's a big potential for them to be lost.
Well, and it is, because, you know, cats are very inquisitive, you know, they've got their 9 lives, and a lot of them, you know, use those up, and they do. There's always on our local Facebook page cats that have got lost, you know, and usually they get found, but, you know, they can get shut in your neighbour's shed. They don't know they're there. There can be all sorts of different things, which, if you're having stuff done in your home, if you've got the decorators in or the builders, and the cat gets spooked, you know, they're going to run off and go and hide somewhere, and you might not know where they are. So I think we do offer that service, and I think as well, it's nice for people. You know, I'm looking after a cat at the moment, and a lady's been in hospital, and she's had to go into a nursing home just for a few weeks. So, you know, that's nice for her to know that her cat's here and safe and being looked after really well. And I've had her cat when she's been on holiday as well. So she knows me, she knows exactly what it's like. So it's reassurance for people when they're in vulnerable situations themselves. You know, it's not just when we're going off to the Caribbean or wherever it is, you know.
Yeah. I have a friend who works and travels a lot for her work, and she has pet sitters, and usually she has a certified pet sitter who comes to her home, but one time she couldn't. And of course, at one time is when her cat got lost, because her friend didn't lock the back door, and it was ajar with the wind. And the cat thankfully was found. But I think that's where having a certified, and I think this is one thing that's really important, a certified cattery would be an essential service, because if you're working a lot, if you have to travel a lot, your cat can go to a place that you know is safe, and there's no risk for them to be lost.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is if you do board your cat in a cattery, you know it's where it is, and you know where it's going to be when you come back. That's not to say, I mean, I work quite a lot with local cat sitters who do a fantastic job, and they visit the homes and look after the cats. But I think there are some cats that maybe are better at home, and then there are other cats that are better in a cattery. I mean, for example, if you do have a cat that, you know, maybe doesn't always use the litter tray, you know, you don't really want to go on holiday and then come back and your house isn't as nice as it was when you left. You know, there are all sorts of different behaviors that cats have that you may not want to leave them in your home if you're not there, you know, and you're, you know.
I think that's a really important point, because if your cat has issues with the litter tray, and I had that, my cat who passed away, he had improperly healed fractures on his hind legs from being beaten before I got him. Yeah, and so he would go near for number 2, near the box, but not in the box because it hurt his little legs. So I had to modify the home, I had to put things around, but if you weren't on it for cleaning, I come home to things everywhere. And I did train him when I was around to go in the box when I was home, and I give him treats afterwards, and we got him trained. But when I wasn't home, he didn't have that support system. And one time I was gone, and I had a pet sitter, and it was not very nice coming home. So having people like you who would be able to help his special needs would be a huge bonus.
Yeah, we have, we have some high-sided litter trays, which, they particularly, like you say, if they've got arthritis, they get in the litter tray, but then they stick their rear end out of the litter tray. So they're trying really hard to use the litter tray, but it doesn't actually work that well. So, in the board, in our category, we make sure that they're cleaned up, and hygiene is one of my like really picky subjects. I'm so fussy, it's unbelievable. We use the disinfectant that they use at the vets and make sure that everything is cleaned absolutely perfectly, and litter trays are cleaned several times a day if they're needed to.
We have a great question from Adeline. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm sorry if I did not. She says, how do you deal with fussy eaters? Do the owners leave their food with you? And what can be incorporated while they stay in your cattery? And if you want to repeat those questions, that's okay. I can go through each one.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Actually, no, they're really good questions, because that is something that I encourage people to do, as well as encouraging them to bring in all their, physical things. They're also very, very welcome to bring along their own food. And that is really important for fussy eaters, because if you suddenly change what a cat eats, they can get, upset tummies, or they just won't eat, which obviously you don't want that. So yeah, I'm very, very happy to have food brought in, and we label it all up, and they just get fed exactly what the client wants them to eat, as they do at home, which is reassuring for the cats, really, because as much as you can do to have everything as familiar as possible, it's just going to make them feel so much more at home, really, and so much more comfortable, because their location's changed, but lots of other things are the same. So yeah, we definitely encourage that.
You just got a really nice comment from Mary. She says the safety is a factor so important as the level of care. I do not go on vacation because I do not enjoy leaving mine in a place where I do not share the minder. We don't have certified catteries like you, or indeed dog kennels that would be up to the standard of her knowledge. So she's really happy to hear about this. And I think it's a critical service, because a certified cattery is something that's safe. You have the behavioral knowledge, you have the training knowledge, you have the welfare knowledge. Again, these are all ethos of ICAN, which is incredibly important to keep the standards of your care high as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I just really always want every cat that comes in to be treated as an individual, and as best we can meet their needs. I mean, you can't be their number one person who they spend their lives with, but you can do your best to make everything as great for them as possible, just to make them feel comfortable, give them environment enrichment, with I love things like I've done a few articles. I mean, in fact, that's how we met, wasn't it, Ruby? On we both wrote for Edition Cat magazine.
We did indeed. Yeah. I was very sad that they folded.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. And I've, I'm very keen on ditching the food bowl and just offering cats lots of alternative ways to eat. So, starting off with, if you don't want to go out and buy, very expensive puzzle feeders, which are brilliant, egg boxes are fantastic. They're one of my favorite things. And because I was explaining, we're very hot on hygiene and make sure that we don't have any cross infection between the cats. So, bowls are washed every time in really hot water in the dishwasher. And egg boxes are brilliant because, they can play with them. They can dig the kibble out with their paws. And then when they leave, we just stick them in the bin, you know. And I'm a really big fan of egg boxes. It sounds really weird, but
No, I
think
love
it's great
I
for
love
cats.
them. My cats, unfortunately, they have no teeth now, so they're all on wet food diets. But before they had their teeth taken out, extracted due to periodontal disease, we used egg cartons all the time. Any sort of cardboard that I could use and reuse, or like even like chocolate boxes, but not like with like the chocolate in it, like the I turn it upside down so there's no chocolate. But like, sorry, let me rephrase this. So we get like these chocolate boxes where the candy is wrapped, and then you clean it all out so there's no chocolate left, and then they can kind of like scoop out the treats from there. There's toilet paper rolls that I would use, but with them using wet food, I can mostly just use licky mats and a few things like that just kind of keep things a bit sanitary.
Yeah.
And being particular as they are older, they want to have their bowls now. So I go with what they need now in their older years.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, if a cat is just only used to having their food in a bowl, then obviously that's what you do. But you just find that there are just like little ways that you can mentally stimulate the cat while they're there staying with us. You know, like I said, they're able to go outside, and even when we've got snow on the ground, sometimes we do, they just love to sit outside and just watch the world go by.
Yeah.
Even when it's freezing cold, they love to do that. But otherwise, if they want, they can be cozy and warm and snuggle up in the heated section. So I think it's just really, I like to give cats choices, like any animal really. You know, if they want to sit on the chair outside, then their cat flap's always open, they can do that. If they want to hide in the little box on the shelf, they can do that, you know. Or, you know, in the hot weather, we've got concrete floors, and that was really amazing because they were all lovely and cool, so the cats really spread out, you know, spread themselves out and cooled out on there. Our cattery's actually fortunately really good for whatever weather, because we've got heaters in the winter and it's all well insulated, but in the summer, because it's brick built, it's actually quite cool as well, so it seems to work really well.
Erin, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I was just thinking sort of on a practical level, you have like an intake form that you give to potential clients if it's a new cat that you've never dealt with before. What sort of questions do you ask them, and is there anything that would exclude a cat from being able to come to your cattery?
Oh, that's actually a really good question, because I think that when clients first come to me, I'm probably one of the most annoying people on the planet, because I actually ask them to fill out a lot of forms so that I have a lot of information for absolutely any eventuality. So the first one, there's 3 basic forms that I have before a cat comes to stay. The first one is for authorization for vet treatment, because, you know, in this sort of legal world that we live in, unless I have written permission to take a cat to the vet, then a vet is actually not allowed to treat that animal. So that's my first thing. And so that's one of the forms. And the other form is just it's our boarding contract, which just has got all our T's and C's, which aren't that many. There's less than 10, but just so that everybody's very clear about, you know, payment, that they know that they have to show me a vaccination record card so that all their vaccinations are up to date. And I can't, you know, a cat will be excluded if I can't see that, because you know, it's not only for that cat's safety, but also for all the other cats in the cattery. I do ask for cats to be to have flea and worm treatment before they come into the cattery, because that again will protect not only those cats but also other cats in the cattery too. And then I have the main form, which has got all the details about the owners, all the details about the cats. So I need their name, their date of birth, their description, what food they eat and would like to be fed, dates of their vaccinations, dates of their last flea and worming treatment, and then also if there are any medical issues. So if we do have a lot of cats who come here on medication. It's the October half-term holiday this week, and it's kind of like animal hospital in the cattery because so many cats are actually on medication. I mean, we have diabetic cats who need insulin injections. We have cats with epilepsy who need regular medication. There are cats that need potassium tablets every day, or they have heart conditions and you know, they need regular medications. There's all sorts of reasons, or if there's preventative ones as well. You know, a lot of cats are prone to cystitis, particularly in a stressful situation. So, you know, their owners will ask me to give them, you know, they call it catties here. I don't know what it is in other countries, but just to prevent that happening. The main one is asking everyone to provide an emergency contact if they're not we're not able to contact them. Obviously, if there's anything wrong with the cat or there's a problem, I would get in touch with the owner straight away. But you know, when you go on holiday, you don't always have your phone on, or you might be in an area where you don't get very good mobile signal. And, you know, it's just always really important to have a named person and have their address and telephone number locally who, if there was a problem, could act on their behalf. I mean, as a cattery owner, I do have authorization to take them to the vet and to make decisions, but it's always really good if the client has somebody who can act on their behalf, who they know really well. It might be a family member or a friend, you know, who could help make sometimes a difficult decision.
We're getting near to time, so there's a few questions that maybe Naomi can answer on your own. But do you have any notes that you want to cover that we haven't covered?
I don't think so. No, I'm very happy to ask any questions. You know, if we, you know, as long as you've got the time, it's fine, no problem.
Karen, do you have the time or?
Sorry, you were breaking up there. I didn't hear that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll blame the snow. Taryn, do you have any more questions for Naomi?
I think I've probably asked the ones that I wanted to ask. It just sounds like it's a lot to consider and a lot to manage. So maybe one other question would be, do you work on your own, or do you have people who work with you? So do you employ people to help with the day-to-day running of the cattery, or do you kind of do everything?
I do have help. We've got 22 chalets, and you know, some days if you've got changeovers, we've got a lot of disinfecting to do. Hello, is that okay? Am I breaking up, or can you hear me?
Sorry, I was just trying to answer questions. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Try again. So I do have I have like maybe a handful of part-time people to help me. Clearly it's a 7-day-a-week job, so I mean, I work every day, but you know, you can't expect your employees to work every day, so we have a little rota, but it's a small number and they all get to know our regular cats that come in, and
I do try to more assign people, my helpers, to certain cats, so the cats can recognize them, and you know, they get a bit of a relationship going, and so it's not somebody different every time for the cats.
Perfect. I think that's a good place to end. What do you think, Taryn?
Yeah, I mean, it really sounds like you have considered every possible way of making the cats as comfortable as possible. So yeah, I mean, it really does sound like a wonderful cat paradise. Yeah, and I hope that, you know, maybe people who are watching who work with cats, or who are thinking about opening their own cattery, will learn a lot from it. I think it's really, really helpful. So much to think about. It's not as simple as just yeah, having some space and putting some cats in it. It's really seeing to their needs, and yeah, you really are seeing to their welfare needs.
Yeah, that I mean, that's what I try to do. So hopefully my clients are happy with that.
Yeah. I want to answer the question, but I mean, I'll do that on the page, but I just want to say thank you. And also, if you have information for people to contact, we'll put it in the Facebook page, so then that way people can contact you, and I try to tag you as well. But yeah, thank you for all that you're doing for the cats, because cat welfare is often so overlooked and forgotten. So I really appreciate that, because as a cat guardian, you know, it's nice to know there's people all around the world like yourselves that are maintaining cat welfare in the best way possible.
Thank you. It's been lovely to be able to share what I do.
All right. We're just going to stop the Facebook Live if you want to just hang out with us for just 1 second. All right. Thank you to everybody who's joined us, and we appreciate it. 1 second.